Hello, sir.
Hello,
Welcome to MYpodCASt, powered by MYCAS College, Mysore.
thank you.
Uh, Sir, we know you are from Mysore, and during 1980s, you studied in Sadvidya High School, Narayan Shastri Road. What is the influence of your school and schooling on your life and personality?
I studied in Sadvidya school for 10 long years. Earlier it was SASP, Sadvidya Anglo Sanskrit Pathashala, where I studied from 1 to 7. Then 8, 9, 10 in the Sadvidya High School. Entire my school is in one building. That is the place where I molded myself to a great extent because it was the school which matters a lot, which gives me the foundation. So in Kannada, normally we say, ತಾಯಿಯೇ ಮೊದಲ ಗುರು, ಮನೆಯೇ ಮೊದಲ ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆ. But fortunately, I felt ಶಾಲೆಯೇ ಮೊದಲ ಮನೆ, ಗುರುವೇ ಮೊದಲ ತಾಯಿ. So we had that kind of feeling. So because of the teachers, perhaps now I can say transformed my whole life. So that is a stepping stone for this career. I could see my teachers. It is the love and affection of my teachers who made me, rather they inspired me to reach great heights. Even in those days, excellence, great heights means so I had to top the things. I should do whatever the teachers they were telling me with love and affection, and that love and affection made me to achieve everything, accomplish anything, whatever may be the small things. But with love, with care, with affection, they used to motivate us. So that has made me to do something.
Sir, are there any teachers whom you remember even today?
Yeah, all my teachers throughout my school days, I remember the day when I stepped into my school. So then there was a headmaster by name Mr. Bindu Madhav Rao. He was coming from Chamundi Hills. Every day he used to walk and he used to come to the school. Then he was the headmaster and he was teaching. And I was admitted. Perhaps still I remember. Perhaps I then my aunt paid 3 rupees for the admission in that school. So headmaster was Bindu Madhav was there. Then after that, when I started going to the classes, the first year, first standard, it was V. Sitaramaya who taught me Kannada. First letter, rather, was taught by him. The first year, he was my class teacher. In the second year, the other teachers came in line. The second year teacher was ABK, Ahalya Bai was the teacher. And the third year, it was TV Jayanti. Luckily, you know, TV Jayanti's daughter became my student. So I got an opportunity, Guru ದಕ್ಷಿಣೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಆಗಲ್ವೋ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್‌ದು ಋಣ ತೀರ್ಸಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಯಾವತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಗುರು ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ನ ಋಣ ತೀರಿಸ್ಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಟ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಟ್ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ವೆರಿನ್ ಐ ಕುಡ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಮೈ ಓನ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಡಾಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಂಡ್ರೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ that. So I am so proud that she came to my room when I was the chairman to see, to seek a seat for her daughter by name Shruti. She completed her MCom. Now she is also working as a lecturer in Sheshadripuram College, Bangalore. So it was a proudest moment for me when she came to me when as a chairperson. Literally, there were tears, not with painful heart. It was Ananda Bashpa, she said. So still I remember TV Jayanti. In the fourth standard, it was M.E. Shushila. And in fifth standard, it was M.S. Kumuda. And in the sixth standard, again, TV Jayanti became my class teacher. Seventh standard, it was Mr. S.S. Kotappa. So this was my 7 years journey. And I stood first in my class, securing the maximum marks. And I just moved to Sadvidya High School again, where B. Mohan was the headmaster. Perhaps he may be there still in Mysore. So in eighth standard, I opted English medium for the first time. So it was N. Kusuma throughout my high school, 8th, 9th, 10th. Luckily, she was my teacher. Mathematics was taught by M.A. Vardarajan. And science like physics was taught by H.K. Vijayalakshmi. Chemistry and biology by C.P. Jalandhar. And history, civics, and was taught by B. Shanta. So, on third language, I opted Kannada, which was taught by three different teachers at various times. MAV Vardarajan was teaching 8th standard, ninth standard also he was teaching, 10th standard Vijayalakshmi was teaching, and my first language was Sanskrit. K.S. Shrikanta Bhatt was my teacher. So I remember each and every teacher who taught me throughout my school days. So perhaps that has made me, that has motivated me, molded me to be a teacher because I was with the teacher throughout my school.
Sir, I must say there are a couple of teachers who taught you were also there in the same school when I studied in Sadvidya.
It's great. That's really great because as you told me that you are from Sadvidya, that was also a very good moment. I could share many things with you because we could share our good memories in Sadvidya school.
Yes, sir. Sir, moving on from your class 10 to your college journey,
Yeah,
you moved to Banmayas and from there you did your MCom in Manas Gangotri. So,
yeah.
how was life then?
So all of a sudden we moved to a college. It was totally different atmosphere. These days also many of the students witnessing there is a transformation in high school to the college. So 11th standard, what they call now, first PUC, I opted commerce in MYCAS College. When we entered the college, they had given us what we call the prospectus these days. Then it was called a calendar, a diary or something like that. When I opened the first page, I was astonished. I was shocked because there were more than 150 teachers in that college of all the streams like commerce, arts, economics, political science, something. So we was in a combination of geography, economics, commerce, and accountancy. These days they call it as business studies. Then it was commerce, purely commerce. Again, I opted with first language Sanskrit, where Dr. M.A. Jayashree was teaching. English was taught by Kusumalata. Whereas geography was really now I can recollect she was the greatest teacher I ever seen by name T.V. Vijayalakshmi, T. Vijayalakshmi. So she taught us geography and economics by a senior lady. So she was teaching us commerce and commerce by Professor M.R. Manjunath. Business study was shared by many teachers. We are not aware of those sharing business then when we stepped in. It was Mr. Venkobara, who happens to be one of the gold medalists in Manas Gangotri MBA department. Mm. So they taught us commerce and accountancy by M.R. Manjunath. The moment when I shifted my course or stream program to commerce, I know for a few months there was some difficulty in understanding what is this debit and credit. Rather, I did not understand anything to be frank. So, and the Banmayas, no doubt, it was one of the topmost colleges then. By the time we could join PUC, lot many students used to be there. G section, F section, and all was there. We really did not understand, psychology of the so many students opting for same courses, etc. And almost 6 months we took, to understand this rudiments of this commerce education. I can, without any, hesitation, I can say, first test was given to us, accountancy test. It was something French and Latin almost because we were taught by different teachers. And when the trial balance was given, we were asked to write something. And we passed journal entries. We were so, myself and my friend was so proud because we tallied the journal entries. That was the thing. But later we realized what accounting we had learned. So honestly speaking, I was not well versed in first 3 4 months of accountancy. Then I decided this is not the way of preparing. Thanks to B.S. Raman, that is the foundation of accountancy. I had taken a purchase on second-hand book of B.S. Raman from first page till the last page of accountancy of B.S. Raman, I mastered. So that is the way in which I went on studying and assimilating and understanding this accounting, and that has paved me the way for going advanced in those aspects. So since it was to some extent, I can say it's not of a very good teaching then. Maybe because of the volume of students, 120, 130 in a classroom, were not able to focus properly. Then, after understanding B.S. Raman thoroughly, even today, I believe it's one of the best books for the beginners. So, through accountancy, I learned I could become a master at that level. Then I started teaching my own fellow classmates, my own close friends. They are in other countries even today. So I could teach them. By teaching, I could become much more, advanced and understanding. I still remember each and every page of B.S. Raman. That has transformed my depth of understanding accounting by reading B.S. Raman. Still, I preserve that book. As long as I'm alive, that book will be with me. You know very well the collections what I had. Here, people are not ready to read. They want ready-made. They want Xerox copies, photocopies. Logically speaking, it's foolish thing. Without understanding what the blunder they're committing, they're enjoying that photocopy business without knowing anything.
Sir, after your 10th standard,
Yeah,
options of science, commerce, and arts were open for you,
yeah.
but you chose commerce. Is there a reason behind it?
The reason was very simple. I was not exposed for these streams then. So my family, there were two persons who were into commerce streams. ಸೊ ಅಪ್ಪ ಹಾಕಿದ ಆಲದ ಮರ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So my cousin has completed BCom then. Hey, commerce ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, MYCAS College ಸೇರ್ಕೊ. That was the only thing. We were not the decision makers then, whatever may be our background. So whatever they were suggesting, simply they were pulling our hand and getting to the college. That's all. You do commerce in MYCAS College. We were not having much, scope to understand what are the other streams, various courses are available. No. So I at that point of time, I did not have any option to understand where should I opt for a commerce or science or arts. So just because my cousin studied in that college, in that course, they insisted, my aunt insisted, you should go to the same college, same course. Perhaps she did not mention about the same section. That is the reason.
Sir, do you feel that you would have done better in science than in commerce?
Regrets. I don't think so. Whatever may be the field that I have chosen, I am doing the best. I feel personally I have to excel in those fields. I don't say just because I not joined science, I did not go for arts, I'm doing something. No, definitely not. The day when I stepped into this stream, this education, this field, I never ever bothered about how I would have been if I had joined BSc, if I had joined science stream. Never. I never even dreamt of it. So therefore, no question of saying I should have joined BA or I should have joined BSc, I should have joined BA. I never ever bothered to understand that.
Sir, by the time you graduated from Manas Gangotri in
Yeah.
mid 1990s,
Yeah,
there was a lot of political and economic instability in the country,
yeah,
especially between 1995 till about 1999. That was the time you graduated.
yeah,
But on the other side, there were a lot of new opportunities, careers opening up in the country because of the new economic policy adopted in 1991. But still, you chose the most traditional path, that is to become a teacher. And what actually motivated you to take up teaching?
So before answering your question, I have to go back to my own explanation earlier. So when I was doing my final year BCom, so that is the place where I transformed myself completely. I dreamt of becoming a teacher totally without even dreaming or thinking of any other profession at all. I am proud to say those teachers right now, I could attend the classes of Professor Nagapati, KS Nagapati, Professor Nagesh. So, especially the teachings of Professor Nagapati made me to be the teacher. So in that final year itself, I decided I must be a teacher. And not just teacher, that has made me to go to higher studies like MCom. To become teacher, I had to become a MCom student. So in final year itself, I decided I should go for higher education in commerce, not even MBA. Though there was a scope for me to go for MBA as well, I didn't go for MBA, did not even apply for MBA. Straight away, I applied for uh, MCom program in 1994. That was the first time the University of Mysore has introduced, entrance examination for PG programs. So therefore, I applied for that way back in 1994. August end, I appeared for an entrance examination where I stood second, I think, and because of that, I got the seat in Mansa Gangotri. So the day when I stepped into PG program, again, I was in a very good mood and ambience, atmosphere because of the understanding of the previous year subject, BCom subjects studied in detail. Then those days evaluation norms were also very tough. Securing first class itself is a great deal in those days. Whereas these days we ask our student, what are the marks you score? 99.9. Perhaps sometimes I was shocked when one of the teachers in one of the colleges given 600 out of 600 in sixth semester BBA. So those days securing first class itself is a very great achievement or accomplishment. So after going to MCom, now again I was a master in MCom department and chatting with the teachers more than the students, enjoying the teachers, mixing with the teachers, and I imbibe those qualities of a teacher. To be a teacher, especially in the first year, Professor R. Chandra Prakash, the way in which he was teaching me, he rather more inspired me to be a teacher, and not just teacher in the same department.
Sir, I don't dare to ask this question, but it's in the flow. Let me ask
Please,
this.
I don't mind. Please ask.
Have you ever regretted being a teacher?
Definitely never in my life, never in my wildest dreams, I give an opportunity to think in those lines. I'm highly satisfied teacher. The day I stepped into the teaching, since then I'm enjoying this profession and never ever, give any room for regretting, not even 0.0001%. So 100% satisfied individual in my profession. Never regrets for this.
Sir, we know you still teach at Department of Studies Commerce, but now you are the director for Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Board (PMEB) at University of Mysore. Why did you choose administration? How did this thing happen?
It's very, very good question, rather difficult question for me to answer as well. The things have changed over a period of time. I was doing my teaching, research, everything in the department. So one fine day, when there was a change in the administration, the university, the change with the vice chancellorship in the university, the present honorable vice chancellor happens to be my good friend. So in fact, he motivated me, he just asked me to take up this responsibility to take the university in a better sphere, better speed, better manner. So he inspired me, rather, he just uh, asked me to shoulder this responsibility. So because of that, I am into this. So I'll continue my teaching. Absolutely, there is no doubt that apart this is I feel it is personally, I feel it's an additional responsibility what we are doing, keeping in mind the vision, the mission of the university. No, we know very well this 108 years, 106-year university. We have our own brand, our own image, goodwill, etc. But if you think that we have the goodwill, it only in the books of accounts. We know the value of goodwill as a commerce student. So it should not become fictitious asset anymore. The goodwill has to be enhanced, and someone should take the responsibility, shoulder the responsibility to enrich the existing status of goodwill, reputation, recognition, everything. You know very well, this is the competitive days. Do as your competitor does is one the motto of every market, every marketeer, every entrepreneur. So this is also, there are many competitors emerging in the field of education as well. So though we are the pioneers in the field of education and we have our own recognition and goodwill, we must also be on par with the latest developments like technology and the ranking status of the university. Rather, we should become the torch bearers of the entire state of Karnataka, because she is the mother of so many universities. So many universities carved out of Mysore. Recently, you must have read in the paper the government policy, the Chamrajnagar, Mysore, Hassan, all these things carved out of Mysore. So when that is the thing, so our responsibility, no doubt we are the teachers, professors, fine. We can also contribute our might to the welfare and the development and the betterment of the administration of the university. Rather, it's fine after entering to this. So the world is different, not just confining to our bookish knowledge and the bookish image. We have to understand the reality as well. So through this office, perhaps now, of 1 year since taking this office, I understood what exactly the difficulties of managing the things in real life, the administrative procedures, the acts, and the lapses, the lacuna, limiting factors. However good we are in theoretically, the reality is entirely different. So therefore, certainly, it was a great opportunity for me to understand, apart from teaching and learning. So we need to know the psychology of the employees as well, the many stakeholders along with this university. So we have to cater the requirements of those stakeholders, not just the students alone, not just the faculty members alone. So it is an opportunity, rather, I feel, to enrich our own understanding in the procedure aspects of the university. And we can find out the limitations. And fine, we listed the limitation. How best we can overcome those limitations. We know the strength of the university, the opportunities of the universities also. So immediately we have certain threats, how best we can overcome those things. So we have to encash the opportunities. So opportunity will not knock the doors every time. So whenever the opportunity comes into the picture, so we have to encash. A diligent man will never ever allow the opportunities to go away. So there, in that way, it's really an opportunity for me also personally to serve my university.
Sir, by qualification, you are an MCom, MBA, and MA in economics. In general terms, when we speak, we tell our degrees wouldn't help us much when we start working. That's not the case when you were a teacher alone. Now that you are into administration, how are these degrees contributing to your administration?
Yeah, there is a lot of enrichment in these subjects, knowledge which I gained over a period of time. I just can't teach commerce alone. I just can't teach business alone without interlinking or without knowing the relationship between these subjects. There cannot be any commerce without economics. There cannot be any finance without business. There cannot be any finance without economics. So therefore, they are all interrelated, interdisciplinary approaches. The exposure to these streams, enriching myself, enrich my understanding, so I can think beyond the given framework and explain in a better manner. I can visualize the better canvas just confining to the given problem and the solution. So we can think beyond that. Unfortunately, these days, especially my own students who are becoming teachers, whatever is given is that's all. They neither go one step forward, they cannot come back two steps backward. So they're stagnant to some extent. So when they are stagnant, then confined, obviously they cannot discharge 100% of the required stuff for the students, required information for the student. So they should be capable of moving forward and coming backward and make the student understand. And we can't expect every student in a classroom understand in similar speed. So we have to step down to that level and elevate them to the greater level. So therefore, we must have an understanding of all these allied subjects. Economics is not different. Economic tricks is not different. Business maths is not different. Accounting or management account, we talk about linear programming. So definitely we have to adopt that in decision making process. So we can't say he doesn't know simultaneous equation that is related to mathematics. I forgot an intense standard. No, definitely not. To take any such exam, just give an example: managerial economics and management accounting. How can you segregate it? One is theoretical aspect, other one is practical aspect. So therefore, we need a lot of knowledge to be, successful in the classroom. As a teacher, I should understand my requirement to convince the students. How can we convince? We have to go deeper into their level of understanding. For that, we need a lot of information. Not just these degrees provide me, the readings provides. Not necessarily one should acquire the degrees. Degrees are just the certificates. It might give you the prefix and the suffixes. It doesn't serve the purpose unless and until you understand the content of the subject.
Sir, we spoke about your suffixes now. Coming to the prefix, could you
Yeah.
please tell us more about your PhD?
Yeah, I studied, I had a very long innings in my research. Almost, it may be, you may not be in a position to accept it easily if I say I took almost 10 years to complete my PhD. Whereas on average, these days, my students are completing 3.5 years. I took a decent 1 decade to complete my research. Maybe those days the constraints were different. Availability of the guides for the consultation, the subject, the vast area, geographical locale, what we are doing, the vastness of the subject. My area was into consumer protection, consumer movement, because I chose one of the topmost teachers in the department. And he made it very clear the day when I approached, yes, you can do, I will give you an opportunity, but you cannot go for finance. I know your finance background, but if you are ready to do it in marketing, my area is related to consumer protection. If you're interested in consumer protection, then you go for it. Then immediately I wanted that person, I wanted the guide. No, I didn't mind the subject. So I opted his suggested topic, consumer protection. I gathered a lot of information. I learned many things which I had not studied either in PG or UG about the consumerism, consumer movement. And that has made me to interact with so many voluntary organizations. Those days, I'm talking about 2 decades. I visited around 30 to 40 NGOs which are operating in the interest of consumer protection. VOICE, VOIC, voluntary organization in the interest of consumer education. So similarly, Bhamini Vishnai, Grahak Parishad. So the many places I visited and I studied that. The pioneer in this field was Manubhai Shah, Professor Manubhai Shah and Preeti Shah. They started a research institute in Ahmedabad, CERC, Consumer Education Research Center. So way back 1990, early 2000, in the year 2000, I visited, personally studied. So it was very close to IIM Ahmedabad. So there I garnered this skill and this knowledge where I submitted my thesis way back in 2004, things like that.
Sir, now we understand that you are into teaching for 3 decades.
Yeah.
What is it that you cherish the most?
See, I cherish that the moment I step into the class, I start enjoying the subject. I enjoy what I'm supposed to teach, what I'm teaching, how I'm teaching. Not only that, no, I must see the students are enjoying what I'm teaching. That is most important. I may be teaching in a wonderful manner. What if they use if they are not understanding anything? He's an outstanding teacher, but I did not understand anything. What is the meaning of that statement? So therefore, I must see that even the last man, as I said earlier, the last student in the class should understand the similar manner in which the first student is understanding. Then only there is completeness in my teaching. So I'm also focusing, I'm concentrating how he or she is assimilating and enjoying the subject. We could see when I am delivering something in a classroom, easily over a period of time, I could understand or I can experience that whether this student, boy or a girl, is understanding what I'm teaching or not. That we can make out by seeing their interest level, by seeing their reaction, the facial expression. Isn't it? And not only that, they should also understand the way, the manner in which I'm expecting it to understand. No, simply they may say, I understood. No, certainly not. It's not like memorization giving 98 problem, 99 problem, and 100 problem they're unable to solve. It should not happen. So it's not the number of problems that we teach in the classroom. You teach even only one problem in one module or one unit, but that should contain everything, all types of adjustments, especially in accounting. And if we solve one problem, whichever I teach, any teacher teaches, the student should be able to solve any given problem. Not that I teach 77 problem, 78th problem miserably they fail because they have not understood this adjustment, this concept was not there. So it is not the number. And we have to enjoy what we are dictating, what we are giving, what they are solving. And also we should bridge that relationship between that is relevant to the practical scenario or not. Just because it was printed in one of the textbooks which is 50 years old, 40 years old, I'm taking that and delivering it. Practical applicability should also have the relevance. It should not be simply an outdated phenomena. So therefore, you let there be 30 students, 40, even I taught a class of 100. So 30 students, so you must feel that all the 30 are enjoying what you teach. And you should also understand their frame of mind. If they are not in a mood to study, you should never make an attempt to teach because of your ego. You should allow them to relax. So let them come afresh. Sit in the class and you teach them, and you also feel proud, not that you are dictating this because you are a teacher, they should follow. That should not be a approach of a teacher. So you're also human being, they are also human being. So you should understand. When we step into the other shoes, then only you'll understand the difficulty level. So they should like the teacher. Once they start liking the teaching, the content, obviously, automatically they start respect. A teacher should never ever demand that kind of treatment or respect. Obviously, he should command it. How he can command? By ways of his mannerism, delivery. It's all matters, the content is most important rather than the container. Unfortunately, these days the container appears to be excellent and the content is not there. So it should be the other way around.
So, sir, you cherish the time that you spend with students
Yeah, definitely.
and their learning
Yeah.
graph is what you like the most.
Yeah, once I cherish when I stepped into the class, when they understand what is required and it is possible for them to exhibit that required talent or the caliber or the efficiency level is increased, obviously the graph will go high. So when the foundation is strong, they can think of building multi-story structures on that. And the foundation itself is very weak, it will shatter in no time. So we have to strengthen the foundation at every level of lecture or the classroom session. I must see that they are strengthening. Every brick that you are putting is strong. So it will stand on its own. So therefore, I need not bother about the graph. Automatically, that lead to their own accomplishment, academic enrichment, or the growth, or the success, the career, anything. So therefore, even the last the bolt or the brick what you are installing, it should be placed properly.
Sir, you have taught both in India and abroad.
Yeah.
What are the difference that you
There's a
find
lot of
between?
difference in teaching in Indian scenario and other countries. The Indian scenario, students, with the traditional approach, what the teacher says in the classroom, there is a final. There is no, they worship to a great extent in Indian scenario. And whatever we see, Veda Vakya, but it may not be so in case of other countries. And moreover, the students in other countries, they're well versed and well prepared before coming to the class. They value each and every session at the greatest you know ability. they never ever think of wasting the time within the classroom. So they feel they'll come with the mindset that they should make use of that particular hour to the best of their ability for understanding the tough concepts or whatever it is. So they come with lot of preparations. As a teacher, when I go with to a class, I must have the ability to address their issues related to academics. So that should be the level of understanding of the teacher when he stepped into a classroom. So the students, they come with well prepared to the classes. A lot of doubts, confusion, questions, anything, any problem. So which we are not finding it in India. They are not 100%. I cannot say. To a greater extent, they are not equipped very well before stepping into the class. Casually they come, and whatever the teacher teaches, and they'll just try to follow that. And with the ability of a teacher, he will deliver only 50%. When the teacher himself delivers 50%, the students will absorb 50% of that. So that means 50% of 50% will become 25%. When they sit for study, they understand only 50% of that 25%. It will become 12.5%. So when these people with 12.5% knowledge and they go and deliver in the classroom, you can imagine the plight of our younger generation. So there, that is where we are finding 100% erosion in the quality of the content delivery. These modern days, unfortunately, I'm saying the students and teachers, the students who are becoming teachers, they are also to a greater extent the root cause for quality dilution. So more than 90% quality is diluted because we are not updating the syllabus. It may not be an exaggeration if I say what my teacher has taught me 30 years ago, same thing I'm teaching in most of the cases, and my students adopt the same thing. Perhaps they may continue the same thing for 30 more years. This is what is really happening. It might be possible in some theoretical papers, history papers, and pure science formula based, but may not be in commerce, may not be in accounting. So when I was a student, we never ever come across something like withdrawing the money through ATM or money transfer, mobile banking. So even at the midnight, if we are dying, hundreds of thousands of rupees there in the bank, there's nobody to save us. 2:30 you go to the bank, the fellow used to say your account, though you have account and a balance, we can't give you 100 rupees, account is closed. Bank transaction is closed. But today now you can just, being in the class, being in the interview, you can swipe your mobile and transfer anything anywhere. So therefore we have to upgrade the knowledge. So if you don't upgrade, there is a huge gap between the theory and the practice. The classrooms, what we teach, and the corporate world. The corporate expecting, something expectation is something different. So when the expectations are high, if you are not in a position to cater those requirements, we are producing something which is not required in the market. To some extent, I can say we are producing defective products. When you're producing defective products, you can never ever think of selling at a premium.
Sir, do you feel that the root cause for all these things is today most of them take up teaching not by choice?
Great percentage, a very high percentage, the teachers of today, they are the teachers by chance and not teachers by choice. But still there is a scope for them, even though accidentally they are there into teaching, they they should change their mindset. They have to improve their personality. They have to understand the need of the hour, how best they can teach. They have to improve a lot. If they don't improve, if they think it is a bane rather than a boon, it's tough.
So, where exactly are we failing to produce good teachers? What's going wrong?
No, I just can't say in one question and one answer. This is the place where we are miserably failing in producing the good teachers or the good student. It's a total holistic approach. The system, there is a failure in the system. You have to accept the system. If I ask the undergraduate teachers, you are not teaching properly, what they say is, sir, it is a PUC teacher, they are not teaching properly. That is why we are getting this stuff. If I ask the PUC teacher, sir, they are not learning anything in high school. Most of them learning for the first time in the PUC. It has become a chain reaction. So each and every teacher at every level should feel, part of the system, and they are also adding some values to the education system. Everywhere we are losing that value. Value addition is required in all levels of education, not just at the PG level or UG level. So end results we are getting, finished products we are getting, unfortunately, they are not, fitting the requirements of the need of the hour. So time has changed over a period of time. But if we are not in a position to, accept the need of the hour and the change which is essential for the growth and the development of the system, maybe education any system, we cannot flourish.
Sir, is there anything that schools and colleges can do to motivate the best of the students to become teachers?
No, I have conducted a research on this. One of my students has studied this, especially confined to commerce education. So, role of commerce teachers in modernizing commerce education we have studied. So, there we found that many teachers, though they claim they have all the documents, so documents won't matter. It is the level of ability to discharge the required act of that required hour, need of the hour. So once you think or I think that I'm a teacher, morally, first and the foremost is moral fear we must have. So morally, I must feel that it's my responsibility, it's my moral obligation to understand the things, to study the things. So long as we don't have this moral obligation, legally fine, nobody can question anybody these days. 10 to 11 is my class, so they are stepping into the class. 11 o'clock they come out. God only knows what they are doing, what they are teaching, how they are teaching. But if they're morally policing themselves, they feel a sort of consciousness among themselves. They study themselves. So when they realize their self, it is definitely possible to enrich the student community, teaching fraternity. So therefore, each and every person after opting this field should feel he or she is solely responsible for enriching the student community.
Sir, you have been a teacher yourself and now you are an administrator. According to you, if you have to give few characteristic features of a good teacher, what would that be?
Okay, fine. See, as a teacher, he should, you know, to teach, he should have something in his mind, not the syllabus. These days, unfortunately, we're all talking about teachers. So, the teaching, the content must be excellent. He must have mastered the content, he must have assimilated the content. Then only he can deliver. And for that, he needs a lot of reading not just from one author or one fine text. For example, I write a book, my ideas is presented in that textbook, and when you read that and teach that, your knowledge will be confined to only one book, one person's idea. So therefore, when you read too many things, 2 or 3, 4, 5 books, you have the opportunity to mix it, to blend it, and teach it in different dimensions. So finally, you can consolidate all those ideas and deliver. It may not be possible for a problem-oriented aspect, but for a theory, you should have, lot of knowledge and information. These days, all the information will be there, but the information should be converted into knowledge. However, the students are capable of converting the information given by you into the knowledge. Commitment. A teacher must be highly committed. You must have the moral obligation, as I said. Yes, I have a class at 10 o'clock. It's my responsibility to teach something unique, to teach something useful to the students. It's not just whiling away the time or anything. So, one must mentally be prepared to enter into the class. Thoroughly, you must have read the subject, for which you need to put a lot of work. As a beginner, as a teacher, I should have a thorough preparation of 3 to 4 hours to deliver 1 hour lecture. Which teacher is ready to do? Forget about 2 to 3 hours. At least 1 hour preparation if we make to teach 1 hour, definitely will be to a great extent is a good teacher. Unfortunately, these days, I'm sorry to say this as a teacher, they are not preparing. Our own students we are seeing, they are not preparing before. Okay, they'll become masters after teaching for 5 years, 6 years, 7th, 8th year. Then they'll be the masters. But immediately in the beginning year, they have to sacrifice. In my case, we used to prepare a lot in our classmates when we became teachers. We used to study thoroughly. We used to make our own notes. What best we should talk to the students, how best we can. That is, industriousness should be there within the teacher. A teacher should work like an industry in gathering the information. And these days we're talking about cutting pasting technology. There when you read, write the notes, and you should be able to edit and deliver it as and when the need is needed. It may be something like marginal costing. It may be something like capital budgeting. So you should have the relevant ability to speak about outside the box.
Sir, you mean to say, if I have to summarize, teacher today should have high levels of commitment, should have integrity towards the chosen profession, should be ready to sacrifice first 5 to 8 years of the career in preparing and mastering the subject, improving communication skills, and maybe then able to read the classroom well and act accordingly.
Sacrifice, I don't agree with you. Sacrifice means what I should enjoy my profession. So when I'm enjoying something, I don't sacrifice anything. Rather, I'm developing on my own. If Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli is playing, they don't feel that they're sacrificing. They're becoming the world leaders, the world master blasters, and all. So same thing. Then we as teacher, I don't claim that I'm sacrificing everything to become good teacher. Certainly not. You do your duty first. Things will come automatically. Don't expect anything in return. You do your duties first, and the results will be transmitted, and the students are the best judges, and they'll say whether you are doing the best or not, whether your whatever you are teaching is useful.
Sir, now to become a teacher at the higher education institution,
Yeah.
KSET and NET is compulsory. Around a lakh people take up the exam every year, and the top 5% is selected, at least in case of KSET. So there are a lot of people who have been attempting KSET for a lot, many years now. What is your advice to them? How should they prepare? What should they do?
So I don't 100% agree with the statement. The moment they clear NET and KSET, they'll become excellent teachers. Certainly not. There are hundreds of teachers who are not qualified KSET and NET examination, yet they are the good teachers. So it is only a quality check, because in the mass valuation, this 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people, always there is a human error in generalizing the marks and grades, etc. But there specific questions are asked for teaching methodology related to subject. Only few will qualify. So those people who have these skills, no doubt they'll become excellent teachers because they've studied a lot. So here in the examination, regular MCOM, MBA, and other thing, they study from based on the semester wise, based on the examination wise. But here, anything under the sun related to the commerce, anything under the sky, is asked. So it is definitely a good method for selecting the good teachers.
Sir, we know you are big on reading. Could you please suggest a couple of books to the students of commerce which they have to read while they are in college?
Yeah, it depends. For every year, the university has suggested them the books which they must read at the end of the semester. Yeah, during the semester. And unfortunately, I can say these students are not reading any of this. So if it is related to the syllabus, they must read, they must peruse, they must refer. Reference books, these colleges are also not providing, many colleges these days, and teachers are also not insisting. As a result, the students are not going through that. So if it is a general reading, when it is very tough for the students to read their reference books or study materials for their own semester, it's difficult for them to study something more beyond the syllabus. So it is, as I said in the beginning, as a commerce and a graduate or a BBA student, accounting, if it comes to, they must read Shukla and Grewal. I suggest, but they never ever see those books. Okay, forget about Shukla and Grewal. At least B.S. Raman, as I said, they should master that B.S. Raman. And they must know something about industrial legislations. If I ask them Bare Acts these days, they don't know what is a Bare Act. If it is industrial law, they must read in the commercial law, Sale of Goods Act, Indian Contract Act, partnership. These acts must be well versed by the Companies Act. If I ask you, if randomly, if I survey, when was the Company Act amended, many students they miserably fail. If you can go to your classroom and ask, so 2013, how many times amended? They may not be in a position to. So they must read at least these prescribed textbooks, problem-oriented books. For example, Financial Man, Prasanna Chandra, anything. I.M. Pandey. Van Horn, if I say, I don't think that they're well versed. So these are the very essential books they must study during their course. That apart, general books, thousands of general books, management books, Philip Kotler's books, they should be well versed. Issue Khera's, Abdul Kalam's books related to success, isn't it? So even I don't mind if they see Wealth of Nations. There is a book on Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith's book. It is available. They never ever gone through those books. Mm. So these are all fundamental books. Managerial economics, they must read managerial economics. Cost accounting, if I say Khanna Huje Pandey, they'll never ever know all these.
Sir, I've been asking this question to all those people whom I'm interviewing. I'll ask the same question to you. What would be the effect of generative artificial intelligence on education in the years to come?
Whatever may be the question that you're asking related to artificial intelligence, even the most modern computer which you are creating in this world is the creation of human brain. So therefore, at any point of time, human brain is much, much superior than the computer designed programs. So therefore, in that day, it's a competitive era. As I said, you have to adopt these things. We have to change ourselves. Change is perennial, change is eternal. You have to change along with the circumstances and the need of the hour. If you don't change, if I stick to this earlier traditional concept, you will be thrown out of the race. To be in the race, to be active in the race, to be competitive among the competitors, you should do as your competitor does. So it may be artificial intelligence or anything, we have to adopt. It may be in the classroom teaching also. When you were a student, when I was a student, it was a black and white technology, blackboard, white chalk. Now things have changed. It became early after before PPTs, there was a slides. We were doing overhead projector slides, OHP sheets used to teach, then PPT, then smart boards. So even school children like 5th standard, 6th standard, they are smart board these days. And if you don't adopt those technologies, again it will be thrown out. So of course the industry is depending on all these peripherals, as I said. So you have to adopt that.
Sir, if we ask you, as people working in affiliate colleges, to suggest a few activities which we should essentially do in the college to help students to be industry ready, what could those activities be?
So first of all, you must understand what is the requirement of the industry, what they're expecting from a graduate. As a teacher, as an administrator or a manager, you should find out that. then try to teach that in the classroom. Identify the gap between what we are teaching and what they are expecting. So you find there is a huge gap between what we are teaching and what they're expecting. So then you would make an attempt to bridge the gap between where we are and where they ought to be after completing the graduation. For this, you need the collaboration with your industrial experts, the industrialists, or something like that, or people with industrial experience. Bring them, rope them in, and make use of their expertise and take their suggestions, incorporate that. And you many times you will be teaching that in the specialized modes and other things, and you can incorporate in the syllabus itself, that it is easy for you to teach the industry requirement. So your degrees are not showcased, so they have to perform. The industry graduates, they can perform better when you cater the industry requirement, unfortunately, which is missing in most of our curriculum. So first and the foremost, we have to plug this. So what is the industry requirement, expectation? We have to tailor made those programs according to the expectation. Then only it is possible for us to market our students.
So to conclude this podcast, I have one last question to you. I would love if you keep it as candid as you kept the answers from the beginning so far. If you have to give advice to the teachers and to the students, what would that advice be?
Since the beginning of my interview, I've been saying you should commit to yourself. You should be a dedicated personality to the profession that you're opting for, maybe for teaching. So you should admire your profession. You should love your profession. Then you'll be passionate enough to teach. You will dedicate. You never feel that I'm sacrificing something for my profession. Rather, you will be enjoying every bit of your teaching, every bit of your learning, whatever may be the pains that I have. The moment I step into the class, I forget everything. And when I come out of the class, rather, I will be rejuvenated by rejoicing everything, cherishing with my students. So that is what one should enjoy as a teacher. So that is possible only when you love your profession. So your BMI, body, mind, and intellect should work together, blend together, and you never ever feel that you're pained, you're strained, you're stressed out. No teacher rather feel that I'm strained of teaching. Certainly not. I never come across. Rather, I'll never say that in my lifetime. Rather, every minute, every class we should enjoy, and every class should be a room for learning. Today this student has asked some question. Yes, it should trigger in my mind that now I didn't find an answer, an appropriate answer for this. Let me go home and browse something, come with a better answer, better explanation if I'm not in a position to give there. So therefore, every day a teacher is a new learner. So as long as you are learning, you'll be enjoying. And you're enjoying, you'll be your best. So therefore, one must be dedicated, and you must have the eagerness to learn new things and adopt new things. And finally, I can say many times we should unlearn what you have learned and relearn what is required for the teaching community, students, fraternity. Okay.
Sir, it was wonderful interacting with you. I'm 100% sure that the inputs that you shared in this podcast will come in handy both for teachers and students. We only wish and pray and hope that in the days to come, we will have great teachers produced and we will have wonderful students graduating from our colleges and university. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I wish all my students were likely to become the teachers, are taking it in a positive way and molding themselves into be the good teachers. Thank you very much.